Hey there, BookTube. Noah. Welcome to my channel. Everyone who reads it must converse. Here I'm going to give my first little installment on Anna Karenina, Leo Tolstoy. This is my pick for the reading challenge through March. How many reading challenges are going on? It's ridiculous. But I decided to jump on March of the Mammoths, and this mammoth is marching, trudging through March with the craziness going on. Not a lot of time for reading. I'm still working. I'm a utility contractor. I work construction, so I'm not in the public. I don't. My job affords me you know uh, time on a construction site, things like that. So I'm not in people's faces, and they're not in mine. But it's been tough for reading the first part of this month, but uh, I still got through a third of this novel so far. It's awesome. I'm starting to see how War and Peace, Anna Karenina, these huge works that Tolstoy did, why they're so awesome. The kind of thing that I've had experience with Tolstoy before has been just short works, novellas, short stories, and also his kind of autobiographical works. They're awesome. So Tolstoy's a master. I could tell, by those shorter works. But seeing a larger work like this get put together, see the story get put together, is it's amazing. Tolstoy's um, depth, just the depth of him understanding a character, understanding human beings, and being able to develop a character. So I want to go through it. I'm not going to give too much spoilers, um, but I am just going to talk freely about the novel. So there's your heads up. And this is high class, rich, unbelievably rich, and high society Russia. Uh, Soap opera. It is. It is quite a few characters, and a lot of gossip, and a lot of scandal, and a lot of everything. And our main characters that we've met consist of uh, Stefan, and he at the beginning, we're thrust right into a marital conflict right before the novel starts. Stefan has been discovered by his wife cheating, having an affair with their governess that takes care of their children, and she's since been fired and replaced by a different governess, but the marriage is strained, as you can guess. Stefan actually invites his sister to come to town, and she lives in St. Petersburg, and they're in Moscow, and invites her from St. Petersburg to come in and perhaps help with the reconciliation, to talk to his wife. Um, his sister and his wife are friends, good relations. And his sister is Anna Karenina. So we meet her very, very quickly. Other than that, we have Stefan's wife, Dottie, her youngest sister. Her name is Kitty, and she is just coming of age, just now the age to marry. And Stefan's best friend, Konstantin Levin wishes to marry Kitty, to propose to her. But Kitty is infatuated by another a young man named Voronsky, and Voronsky is unbelievably rich and has all the means and all the clout. He's just a any mother would love for Vronsky to be the one to marry his daughter, marry their daughter. So as it turns out, Vronsky doesn't have any real intentions of marrying Kitty. He kind of leads her on, and Vronsky uh, falls in love with Anna Karenina while she's in town. Anna Karenina, Stefan's sister, does have a husband in St. Petersburg. And, Vronsky just doesn't care. Vronsky goes to St. Petersburg, starts a relationship with her, a very deep relationship with her. Doesn't let up, and they're both in love. And there is all kinds of as you can get already, scandal, and this kind of very high class, upper class soap opera going on. And it may sound like, if I heard that kind of thing, I'd just be like, well, why would I want to read that? Not necessarily something that's something that I gravitate toward, but it was Leo Tolstoy. And so I have come in contact with enough that I knew that Tolstoy was a master of the human condition, of understanding human psychology, just people's motivations and all that kind of thing. So I'm glad that I picked it up for March of the Mammoths. And I just want to go through a few parts that really struck me, because by Tolstoy's language and the way that he delivers the story, that is what makes this so enjoyable. Now I'm not Russian, so and just how I read, names that are especially names of another language, or if I'm reading fantasy and it's just some syllables all put together to create some kind of fantastic name. I ever since I was young, I would pretty much read it however I wanted, and I'd attribute my own, sounds to it, whether it was 100% correct or not. So I've done the same with this. It's just how I read. So I might butcher some of the names, but they're pretty close. And however, the names are not what it is here. I just want to show some of the things that I've pulled out. Now this is when Levin is talking to Stefan, and like I said, Levin is Stefan's best friend, and he comes into town. Now Levin is upper class society as well, but Levin has chosen to live out in the country. He has his own, estate out there. Everybody has servants. Everybody has, footmen that are helping them, get from place to place, kind of stuff. This is very, very upper class. But so they're just walking, or they're just talking here, and so here. Just then Levin remembered his own sins and the inner struggle that he had gone through, and he added unexpectedly, "However, it's possible you're right. Very possible. But I don't know. I don't really know." "So you see," said Stefan, "you're a very wholesome man. That is your virtue and your defect. You have a wholesome character, and you want all of life to be made up of wholesome phenomena, but that doesn't happen. So you despise the activity of public service because you want things to correspond to their aim, and that doesn't happen. You also want the activity of the individual man always to have an aim, that love and family life always be one, and that doesn't happen. All the variety, all the charm, all the beauty of life are made up of light and shade. Levin sighed and gave no answer. He was thinking of his own things and not listening to Oblonsky. That's Stefan. So there's just a bit of the language, and that is a time when you see at least a friend of Levin just really giving him what he thinks of him, and therefore letting the reader get a little bit more of what kind of person Levin is. Tolstoy is great at that. So here's a piece between Betsy and Anna. Precisely, Betsy picked up. One must make a mistake and then correct oneself. What do you think? She turned to Anna, who, with a firm, barely noticeable smile on her lips, was silently listening to this conversation. I think, said Anna, toying with the glove she had taken off, I think, if there are as many minds as there are men, then there are as many kinds of love as there are hearts. Vronsky was looking at Anna and waiting with a sinking heart for what she would say. He exhaled as if after danger when she spoke these words. So that is in the middle of a dinner that Anna and Vronsky are both kind of there, but also other friends. Betsy is a friend of Anna's, perhaps a close relation. And Anna's husband shows up as well, and others. You know, it's not an exclusive thing, but they're all hanging out. So Anna and Vronsky steal some time together, and they are deeply in love. It is that "What do you want from me?" he said simply and seriously. "I want you to go to Moscow and ask Kitty's forgiveness," she said, and a bright little light flicked in her eyes. "You don't want that," he said. He saw that what she was saying, she was forcing herself to say, and not really what she wanted. "If you love me as you say you do," she whispered, "make it so that I am at peace." And his face lit up. "Don't you know that you are my whole life? But I know no peace and cannot give you any. All of myself, my love, yes. I cannot think of you and myself separately. You and I are one for me, and I do not see any possibility of peace ahead, either for me or for you." So, Vronsky and Anna are hopelessly in love. They are both kind of giving into it, and with that, you know, there's this huge looming kind of, you know, this wouldn't be even a great story or even true to life if it just went all good. When it comes down to it, you know, they are acting deceitfully. Vronsky is a pretty naive kind of character. I see him as kind of a Romeo, someone who falls in love quick and easy, and falls in love completely. And now he has found a place for that love with Anna. But Anna has a son, and Anna has a husband, and what is to be done? So the next part that I'm going to touch on is Anna's husband. Now, there's a couple of places in the first third of the book there where we really get just it switches the narrative from this kind of omniscient narrator that's talking about a whole situation to where he's talking about just Anna's husband. And I love these chapters. They're some of the best. And with this, this is something that will just definitely point out the kind of way that Tolstoy is just a master at human mind. He did not want to see, and he did not see, that in society many were already looking askance at his wife. He did not want to understand, and he did not understand, why his wife insisted especially on moving to Tarsko, where Betsy lived, which was not far from the camp of Vronsky's regiment. He did not allow himself to think of it, and so he did not think of it, but perhaps, in the depths of his soul, without ever saying it to himself, and having not only no proofs of it, but even no suspicions, he knew without a doubt that he was a deceived husband, and it made him deeply unhappy. So he has, he's allowing his mind to play tricks on himself, and consciously, no, but subconsciously. And then the very end of that same chapter, without realizing it, Alexei Alexandrovich, that's Karenin, now sought occasions for having a third person present at his meetings with his wife. Next chapter, again, but he did not want to see anything, and he did not see anything. So, he's just allowing this kind of deception to take on because it's so horrible and something that everybody does. That is something that everybody does. Not to say that you have just like a horrifying thing in your life going on that you're not acknowledging, maybe, but we don't acknowledge things. Our minds play tricks on us to not acknowledge things that cause us pain, that cause us hurt in our hearts. So, and Tolstoy knows this, and Tolstoy is calling that out very, very well. There's a lot of those kind of passages expounding on that kind of thing. So, near the end of where I'm at there now, we've gone through something, an episode of a horse race. Vronsky is very capable. Vronsky is a very capable man, even though, like I said, he's naive and he's a young man. But we've gone through a horse race with him in which he failed, and he made a mistake, and he didn't even finish, even though he would have won had he not made the mistake. And with that, I see maybe a lot of foreshadowing of what's to come. How that worked out. And I'm not gonna throw any spoilers out there for that, because it's actually told two different times from two different perspectives. Once from Vronsky's perspective, and once from Anna's husband's perspective. You get that day, that time, from Vronsky's perspective and from Anna's husband's perspective. And that's the thing, is like, now Anna is in both of those tellings. Anna is, Vronsky goes before the race and meets up with Anna, and they have a little back and forth. And then you get that whole day, that whole little episode again from Anna's husband's perspective, wherein you follow him and he meets up with Anna at the horse race. And so it's wonderful and masterful how it's told, because the book is obviously Anna Karenina's story. This is all Anna right here in big ways. And we get this story in a lot of times told from the people that are around her. Vronsky, her lover, and Alexandre Karenin, her husband. And I'm loving it. So let me know what you think, guys. If you've read it, I've heard too many people saying, "Oh, I loved it, I loved it, I loved it." So thank you for all that, and bring it on some more. Let me know what you think about Anna Karenina. Let me know. No spoilers, please. But I wouldn't mind a little maybe something if that horse race is foreshadowing or not, just to see if I can if I perceived that correctly. You don't have to tell me how it's foreshadowing, but I am interested. And thank you for marching along with me through March of the Mammoths with Anna Karenina. We'll catch you later, guys. Hope everybody's happy and healthy. And bye-bye, BoatTube.